We're back with the top Democrat in the House, Leader Hakeen Jeffries. He joins us from his Brooklyn, New York district. Good morning.
Good morning. Great to be with you.
Well, Leader Jeffries, Treasury Secretary Bessent said the shutdown is starting to affect the economy, and by November 15th, the troops will not be paid. Do you expect the shutdown to last that long?
I certainly hope not. This is day 26 of the Trump Republican shutdown, and as Democrats, we've maintained from the very beginning and continue to maintain we will sit down anytime, any place with anyone, either at the Capitol or back at the White House, to reopen the government, to negotiate a bipartisan spending agreement that actually meets the needs of the American people, and to decisively address the Republican health care crisis, particularly as it relates to the urgent need to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits so we can prevent tens of millions of Americans from experiencing dramatically increased health insurance premiums that will make access to a doctor unaffordable.
Yes, the Affordable Care Act, that's Obamacare. By definition, it was supposed to make health care more affordable, so why do you need subsidies for it? I.e. tax credits for it if it's supposed to be affordable. All right. I just want to be asking questions. Need clarifications.
I want to come back to healthcare in a moment, but the Treasury Secretary accused you of playing politics personally. And I know that your Democratic whip, Catherine Clark, said on Fox this past week that shutdowns are terrible, but as she put it, it's one of the few leverage items Democrats have. Do you think Democrats are gaining from this fight?
No, our focus continues to be on driving down the high cost of living for everyday Americans. Donald Trump and Republicans promised that they would lower costs on day one. We know costs haven't gone down. They're going up. Inflation is moving in the wrong direction. The Trump tariffs have made life more expensive for the American people to the tune of thousands of additional dollars per year. We know that electricity bills are through the roof. Housing costs are too high. Childcare costs are too high. Groceries too expensive. And now tens of millions of Americans are at risk of having their premiums explode. In some cases, by $1,000 to $2,000 per year. That's what this fight for us is all about. Republicans have come up with a new conspiracy theory every week for the last 6 weeks. The Democratic position, Margaret, has been clear. Cancel the cuts, lower the costs, save health care.
Well, that was the quote from the whip herself when she said leverage. But I hear you on rising healthcare costs, but the immediate term, people aren't getting paid. 750,000 federal workers are on unpaid leave. 80% of the folks who work on our nuclear program are included in that figure. The Agriculture Secretary said there will be delays in food stamps for many of the 41 million people who rely on SNAP. And then at airports across the country, half of the flight delays, according to the Transportation Secretary, are because of staffing shortages. This pain is real now. So is there a point at which it becomes too great to justify continuing the shutdown?
Well, there is an urgent need to reopen the government, which is why we continue to demand that Republicans sit at the negotiating table so we can enact a spending agreement that's bipartisan in nature.
So we gotta keep in mind, anytime Democrats say bipartisan, that means give us what we want as far as Democrats go, because Democrats believe in absolute power, right? They believe in agree with everything. If you don't agree with everything that the Democrats want, then fuck you. They start calling you the phobias, and they start calling you the isms, and the ist. You're homophobic, you're racist, this is racism, you're a dictator, blah blah blah. And so anytime they say bipartisan, see, you gotta wade through the Democratic rhetoric. That's what they're talking about. So what's on the table is keep spending, which is ridiculous at a high level. Is actually the spending that they're talking about was spending that Biden, and they just gonna continue that. Don't add anything extra, anything like that. Keep doing that. Democrats voted on that 12, 13 times prior, including this past March. of 2025. But now there's a whole lot of other things at play. One major thing at play. That major thing is their far left radical progressive who have threatened to get people like this guy out of office. Him, Chuck Schumer, right? And that's coming from AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and Bernie Sanders, and these type people. Whole lot at play here. So that's why they're doing what they're doing. If the Democrats just vote yes on continuing what's going on, then this shit will be over. They continue to vote no on continuing what's going on. It's kind of kick the can down the road, which is not good. But they're where they're at. And the word leverage has been used by Democrats. And you know, leverage is at the peril of all the people that support them. But you know what? They don't give a fuck. They just want to be in power. Absolute power. Let's let Robot continue. Robo.
That's what we've called for from the very beginning.
But the Republicans are saying they won't do that until you pass the funding bill, the clean funding bill that already passed the House. Why can't Democrats in the Senate get on board with that?
Well, we've made clear, and I'm thankful for the leadership of Chuck Schumer and Senate Democrats, that we were not going to support a partisan Republican spending bill that continues to gut the health care of the American people in an environment where Republicans have already enacted.
It's not a partisan Republican bill. It's just not. It's something that they've already voted on in the past, and they are trying to vote to continue it. Lies. They just tell lies.
The largest cut to Medicaid in American history. Hospitals, nursing homes, and community-based health centers are closing all across the country. There's the possibility that Medicare could face a $536 billion cut, the largest cut to Medicare in history, if Congress doesn't act by the end of this year because of what Republican policies have done in their one big ugly bill. And now they refuse to extend the Affordable Care Act.
I see, that's real adult, right? It's called the one big beautiful bill, but you know, kids, they'll just call names. In this example, one big ugly bill. See, all right, yeah. Don't listen to these people. These Democrats are of Satan, Damon, demonic.
Tax credits that impacts working class Americans, middle class Americans, and everyday Americans throughout the country, including in rural America.
Well, they haven't refused. Leader Thune said he'd even put that up for a vote if you open the government first. But next Saturday is the beginning of open enrollment. I mean, people are going to see what that bill is going to look like. Practically speaking, aren't you out of time here? Insurance companies have set these premiums in place. That's how they're already in the mail for people to open and see on Saturday. What becomes the strategy after November 1st if this shutdown it lasts that long?
Well, listen, we want to reopen the government, and we need to stand by our hardworking federal employees who are doing all that they can to make sure that taxpayer dollars are spent effectively and efficiently, even under the most adverse circumstances. Remember, in terms of federal employees, the Trump administration has fired or dismissed more than 200,000 civil servants prior to them shutting the government down on October 1st. We want to reopen the government now. In terms of
yeah, that sucks. I never want to celebrate anyone losing their jobs. No. But we are in a capitalist society, and if you know anything about government, most people in government really don't do anything. Most of those jobs are kind of created just because they can be created. You could be the liaison of paper processing when increasingly no one's using paper. But just because I'm in a position of power and I have a little bit of authority, I can create positions to hire certain people. And you know what? Recommend your friend, because I'm going to create 10 positions you can hire. I'll hire you. You can recommend your friend. I'll hire your friend. Point is, most overwhelmingly government jobs, they do nothing important anyway, nothing that helps further the agenda of serving the overall population. So 200,000 jobs, I mean, you know, were they essential? Because if they were, they would not be cut, because all the essential jobs are still in place. Duh.
Healthcare, part of the reality is that tens of millions of people are already receiving notices in October that their premiums are about to skyrocket because of the Republican refusal to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credit. And by the way, they have had the opportunity, both House Republicans and Senate Republicans, repeatedly throughout the year to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits, and they've consistently voted against it. That's why we need action, not simply words, a wing and a prayer promise from people who have tried to repeal the Affordable Care Act more than 70 different times since 2010.
But aren't the premiums already locked in here, or are you saying Republicans are right when you can make up for it at the end of the year with the tax credit?
The premiums are not locked in terms of the reality that if we can act legislatively and act now, we can extend the open enrollment period, we can push it back, and we can intervene as a Congress in order to actually protect the affordability of health insurance for tens of millions of people.
How about this fantastical idea? Government should be involved in healthcare. How about that? Maybe they should probably oversee it to make sure it is fair as possible, but actually being involved in administering healthcare to the overall population of the states, government shouldn't be involved in that whatsoever. Government shouldn't be involved in too much of anything except protecting the citizens of this country. That's about it. In my opinion, that's all government should be involved in, protecting the sovereignty and the safety of the United States. Anything else, get the fuck out of the way, government. You're too damn busy, and so busy worrying about all this other shit. Your job basically is to protect the overall citizens' sovereignty and safety of the United States. They just get so involved in all this other shit that they just get lost in the sauce. What politician really knows anything about healthcare? But of course, it's all a business, and then when you throw money into it, it all gets all mucked up. That's why capitalism should win the day. Capitalism should win the day. Healthcare, it should not be monetized as that, but it is. That's where we're at. But at the end of the day, the market will determine what happens with it. If you don't like your doctor, he's not good, go to somebody else. Maybe that doctor get better, he closed down. The market decides. We don't need government to decide.
All right, leader, stay with us. I have to take a quick commercial break.
No, you better not. I ain't paying for no commercial on here.
Welcome back to Face the Nation. We return now to our conversation with House Minority Leader Hakeen Jeffries.
Robot.
Leader Jeffries, I want to ask you about some other matters as well. In New York City of more than 8 million people, there's about to be an election of a new mayor.
Zoran.
You waited until this Friday, the day before early voting began, to endorse the Democratic Socialist candidate Zoran Mamdani. Why did you wait so long?
As I indicated, last several weeks, we've been immersed in the intensity around the government shutdown and the run-up to that in advance of September 30th and the expiration of the fiscal year. But I support the Democratic nominee, as I indicated, and we're in alignment in terms of the issue related to affordability and the need to address it decisively for the city of New York. And of course, affordability is an issue for people all across the country. From a public safety standpoint, I supported the notion that he would retain Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch to continue to lead the NYPD forward. That's incredibly important from a public safety standpoint for every community, including as a high priority, the safety and security of the Jewish community. And in terms of the moment that we find ourselves in, Donald Trump represents an existential threat.
Oh, he made a point to highlight the Jewish community because you know what? He takes funds from AIPAC, which is a very powerful political action committee. He ain't highlighting none of y'all black folks, did he?
To the city of New York and beyond because of the extreme assault that has taken place throughout this year on the economy, on healthcare, on farmers, on veterans, on law-abiding immigrant communities, on due process, on the rule of law, and of course on the American way of life itself. And we all...
Yeah, he gonna highlight immigrants, huh? But y'all want somebody up in a place of power that look like you, huh? But is he supporting you? Let's see what else he has to say.
As Americans are going to have to be aligned in pushing back so we can end this national nightmare that Donald Trump has visited upon the Americans.
Yeah, blame Trump.
Well, you still waited until Friday and the election's upon us, but you're leaving room in your answer there for understanding that you don't agree with the candidate on some other issues, though you agree with him on affordability. Since Democrats are running for re-election in the midterm races, you want to retake the House. Would you recommend they mimic some of Mamdani's messages as a progressive model for the party?
Great question.
No, what we've said from the very beginning is that we have to decisively address the affordability crisis that Donald Trump and Republican policies have made worse in the United States of America. We need to lower the high cost of living. We need to fix our broken healthcare system.
So no.
And we need to, of course, clean up corruption in the United States of America. No, what we're going to mimic is our own views as it relates to the need to make life more affordable here in America. When you work hard and play by the rules.
See, they tell you outright they're going to mimic their own views, not what the people want them to do. They just say the shit. But there's going to be millions of people that vote for people like him that think like this. They're not there for you. None of these politicians are here for you. But when these motherfuckers come out and just tell you what it is, they just tell you what it is, and you go and still vote for them. They, not him in particular, but the more people, more progressive than he is, they want to break this the whole system down. Which they might not be wrong. What I think is anything that has to do with democratic, progressive, liberalism, break all that shit down. Get rid of all that shit. Get rid of them. And start an entirely new party. Because the Democrats have, again, they're demonic. They're Satan. I mean, I don't know what else besides that. Nothing that they stand for is good for people. Nothing.
In this country, you should be able to live a comfortable life, live the good life, good paying job, good housing, good health care, good education for your children, and a good retirement. But far too many people are struggling to live paycheck to paycheck and can barely get by. That's unacceptable in the wealthiest country in the history of the world.
I want to ask you about something you said. You said Democrats, there are no election deniers on our side of the aisle. You said that back in January. But recently, you've been using the term rigged elections in reference to the upcoming midterms. Democrats were appalled when President Trump used language like that. How do you justify using that now? Doesn't that undermine faith for voters? You need to show up.
Ooh, baby, go ahead.
No, I've been using that term in the context of Donald Trump's unprecedented effort to gerrymander congressional maps in a partisan fashion all across the country in order to rig the midterm elections and deny the ability of the American people to actually decide who should be in the majority as it relates to the House of Representatives.
Democrats are also going through gerrymandering and redistricting.
No. Well, Democrats are going to push back aggressively to make sure that we have fair maps across the country, not partisan gerrymandering, which Republicans have
these evil motherfuckers are doing the same thing. As a matter of fact, Democrats have gerrymandered so much in the states that they control to the point that it's ridiculous. Here's what they're talking about. Texas has redrawn their maps to where they're going to gain 5 seats. So what do the Democrats do? The Democrats tap California, which is the most progressive liberal state in our country, and their governor, state oil salesman Gavin Newsom, said, yeah, we gonna put up a Proposition 50, to where we're gonna gerrymander, redistrict to gain, guess how many more seats? Everyone? 5 more seats. But he said, this robot said, no. All right. These motherfuckers. My whole thing is, you cannot be human and have empathy for people if you just lie. These motherfuckers, when they get in front of a microphone / camera, either or both, they're always lying. How can you even sleep at night when you lie? They just lie. Whether you lie by omission, which is what they do, then they deny the facts, which is lying. Then they tell you, nah, what you're seeing is not what you're seeing. That's a lie. These demonic.
Initiated in state after state after state.
Leader Jeffries, thank you for your time this morning. We'll be right back.
We ain't gonna be right back. Yeah, we will be right back. But I don't know what these. Where these people come from, or and who? Why would you support any of this? Like the video, comment on the video, share the video. This is Mr. Info 5000. Mr. Info 5000. Peace.